Is there anything that you want to do for an intro?
Um, I don't know. And and do you have any ideas?
I don't know. I was thinking about something like maybe like a bit.
Sure.
I don't know what to say though.
I don't know either.
Okay. All right. That's the intro.
Was it actually?
Yeah. All right. Hello everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Party Member Podcast. Today, our party member joining us is a good friend of mine, Owen. How you doing?
Doing well. Doing very well.
All right, so as you can probably tell from the title, we are going to be talking about Destiny because what was it like? Was it last week that they had that reveal? Maybe the week before that.
Yeah. It was June 9th, I believe. That's what it says in the trailer here.
Okay, and okay, yeah, recording this, it's the 22nd. Okay, so before we get into discussing everything, so first things first, this is a no spoiler podcast. So I've looked at a lot of the leaked stuff for this season, and but Owen hasn't. He's requested that I don't talk about it, and so we won't talk about that. But anything that's been officially released, so like the beyond stuff from the trailer, there's a couple images on the Bungie site that we're gonna be talking about. Everything that's been officially released is fair game, but
All right.
everything that is leaks is not. So if you're worried about spoilers, don't worry about it. We're not going to be talking about any spoilers or leaks or anything like that. So before we dive into the trailer, when did you start playing? When did you start gaming in general, and when did you start playing Destiny?
Okay. So starting with gaming in general, I mean, well, it just kind of happened really. My brothers growing up, they played a lot of Halo, old Mortal Kombat, all the old original like Xbox games, and ever since watching them play those growing up and then transitioning into Xbox 360, it was around that time when it wasn't it wasn't like when the Xbox 360 came out, maybe like a few years into it, but that's when I started playing like the Assassin's Creed and started playing Halo Reach and really playing on my own. And yeah, it just kind of branched from there, and then we got to here playing Destiny, and I got Destiny as soon as it came out. Um, we I was sitting there with my brothers when the trailer launched, and we saw it, and we were like, yeah, we got to get that game, and now we're at Destiny 2, so long journey.
Yeah. And did you get? What did you play Destiny 1 on? Did you always play Destiny 1 on PS4?
Yeah, yeah. I got the PS4 a little before Destiny was released, I think.
Okay. Kind of sidetracking here, but don't you think it's kind of crazy that because Destiny released on the 360 and the PS3 and the PS4 and the Xbox One, don't you think it's kind of crazy that we're at the end of the lifespan for the PS4 and Xbox One?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Because
It's crazy.
to me at least, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. Like, and I've talked to a couple of my friends about it, and they've been like, "Dude, that was like 10 years ago." But I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah, it
doesn't
was really
feel
fun.
that way to me. Maybe that's because I haven't. I played the PS4. I've played the PS4 more, but I didn't get the PS4 when it came out. I got the Xbox One when it came out, and the Xbox One when it came out was kind of dog shit. So
Can you believe? Like, just put this in perspective. Like, it's 2020, and Destiny 1 came out September 9th, 2014.
jeez, you're making me feel old.
I mean, like we've been playing this game for 6 years. I
Yeah,
mean, like
yeah.
6 years. It feels like maybe two. That is crazy. That is
It's
crazy.
especially with like Destiny 2 and stuff. Like it does not feel that long ago.
Oh, it doesn't. I think Destiny 2 came out, what does it say? It says right here, it says 2017.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Holy
And
crap.
did you play a lot of Destiny 2 at launch?
Um, I think I did. There was a period where I fell off Destiny for a good bit. That was when we started playing Apex a lot, but
Yeah.
um yeah, no, I
That's for a different episode though.
oh yeah. Um Destiny, I'd say backtrack here a second. So the games I really played on my own for the first time, I think, were like Assassin's Creed. Like I remember playing in like my old house in Ohio.
Hmm.
We would like I would sit there and I'd play like Assassin's Creed 1 and I'd always watch my brothers play it. So like it never got old. The Assassin's Creed never got old for me. Those are my favorite games. Um and then Destiny, like I was I would play that so much. Like my mom would have to tell me to get off that. So she
like,
still does with this. So
um like we kind of talked about this before too. Is Destiny is just one of those games where like you get on at like 6 o'clock, like when you get home from school, and then you look at the clock and it's 1 a.m.
yeah, you're like, ooh, that's not good.
And personally, I played. I didn't play Destiny at launch. I played. Um, I played on my aunt's account at my grandma's house because I didn't have a PS4. I did have the Xbox One, but like I said, I didn't play it much because it was really like bad at launch. Like the OS was really slow and it felt really clunky. So I played it on my aunt's account, and I had a Warlock, and I'll never forget. Did the whole I did the whole story, and I got to level 20 in the same day. It was like I played for like 18 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I was playing like Crucible. I was grinding Crucible to level up fast, and
Dang.
that was when I was like, okay, I gotta get this game. So I got Destiny 1 for the Xbox One during the Dark Below, and I played all the way until probably halfway through Taken King before the April update. And if for the viewers, and if you don't remember what the April update was, it was the update in between Rise of Iron and the Taken King, because Destiny 2 was supposed to come out in 2016, but then then Bungie was like, it's not ready. So they whipped up Rise of Iron, and to fill the gap in between Rise of Iron and the Taken King, they came out with the April update. And so I think I got a PS4 that Christmas, and I started playing on PS4 because that was where my aunt and my cousins played, and I didn't know anyone else, and I didn't use LFG, so I had rated a little bit, uh, but I wasn't like committed to Xbox, you know.
Yeah.
So I made the switch to PS4 because the PS4 is just so much cleaner. Like the Xbox One is a lot better now, like the OS and stuff, but like it didn't get like that till like really recently, till like last year. But the
Yeah.
PS4's OS was always really clean. So I played, and then I played the rest of PS4 Destiny. So I had like what, like 600 hours on my Xbox. No, it's like 700 hours on my Xbox One, almost 500 hours of Destiny 1 on my PS4.
Jeez.
And then Destiny 2 came out, and I pre-ordered it, but I never picked it up because after I pre-ordered it like way before the beta came out, so I could play the beta. And so I pre-ordered it and I played the beta, and I have a video on this. There's a video on my channel from like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's called Is Destiny 2 Heading in the Right Direction or something? And I shit you not, like all of the things that I was worried about in the beta or after the beta ended, they all ended up being problems in the main game, in the vanilla game.
Oh, that-
Of course, it has like 4 views, but but I don't know. I had a hunch that it wasn't gonna be good, so I played. I picked it up like 2 or 3 months later when it was on sale. It was on sale for like $30 before Curse of Osiris even came out, I think. And I played and I was like, "Yep, this is not for me." And so I put it down for a long time until, well, a long time, I guess is a year, because Forsaken came out and it kind of piqued my interest, but I didn't get Forsaken at launch. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm gonna get my feet wet later when it goes on sale, right? Because of what happened with Vanilla.
yeah.
So, I played the tail end of Forsaken, and then we played Black Armory together, like the first, probably like 2 or 3 weeks of Black Armory. But it was hella hard to level up, so we stopped because we had like school and stuff. I don't know if you played Season of the Drifter, but I totally skipped out on it. I totally skipped
Yeah,
that one.
no, I skipped out on the season of the Drifter, and I think it was the season of the Opulence with what's his name, Saint 14. That one, that one. I missed that one. I kind of regret that one.
Because that one was after Shadowkeep. Season of Opulence
Yeah, yeah.
was the Menagerie one. And
Oh
that
yeah,
one we played together because it was a lot easier to level up, and like that was probably, I'd say Forsaken. No, probably like House of Wolves, Taken King, Forsaken, and Season of Opulence. Like all four of those are like the probably the best times in Destiny history.
yeah.
And yeah, and then so we played a lot of Season of Opulence, and then when Shadowkeep came out, we played for like the first probably the first month, and then we took another break because school started to pick up again, and we got back into it. What was the last season? The Warmind one?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many there's so many
I don't
seasons,
remember. I
expansions.
can't ever remember what it's called because there's Season of Dawn was the Osiris one, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think Season of the Worthy was the Rasputin one. And then there's this one, which is Season of Arrivals, but that's besides the point. We'll get to that later.
So it's in Destiny 2. There's what? There's season of the Undying, season of Dawn, season of the Worthy, and season of Arrivals.
Yeah, Arrivals 11, and then next would be 12, which is whatever the Beyond Light one is called, so that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, so the season of the Undying was when you had like those Vex invasion
Yeah,
public events.
that was Shadowkeep. That was the one that launched with Shadowkeep.
Oh, okay. And season of the Dawn was that was
That was the Sundial.
yeah. Oh, I don't think I ever played the Sundial.
I didn't for sure, and I regret it because I was watching gameplay of the Symmetry Scout Rifle today, and I was like,
Okay.
oh my god, I'm definitely using my exotic cipher on that because I love scouts. I just wish that
Yeah.
they were better. Anyway, that we're totally gonna get after that tangent. Okay, so I figured that we would start with the reveal trailer. So
Again, you kind of broke up there.
I said I figured we'd start with the reveal trailer, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah,
We'd go
that's perfect.
reveal trailer, gameplay trailer, and then the other stuff. And then
All right,
at the end, the tail end, we talk about Season of Arrivals.
sounds good. Sounds
All right.
good.
So in the reveal trailer, how were you surprised that the stranger came back?
Yes, I was a little surprised, but I think like they were kind of hinting at it with all like the like I know there's I'm not really good on the like the lore, but I
Mm.
know that there's some relationship between um Drifter and I think it's the Drifter and Stranger and then someone else. I don't know who the third one is. I don't
Eris.
remember. Paris, yeah, that's who it is. So like they were bringing like you saw cutscenes of the Drifter, you saw cutscenes of Eris, and you're like, okay, they might bring what's her name in. Like
Mm.
I know I heard like some stuff that they thought that the stranger was going to come back. So I was surprised to see her back because we haven't seen her since what? 2014.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely it's really cool to see her, but I'm intrigued to know what she's been doing this whole time, because I
Yeah.
mean, last time she didn't have time to explain why she didn't have time. So
Yeah. And I have some more stuff to say about that later, but it ties in with a subject that I have written down for later, so that's when we'll cover it. But I was surprised too because yeah, it's been since 24. It's been since Destiny Vanilla that we
yeah,
last saw her, and Luke Smith like gets asked about it like all the time, and every time he's like, you know what? I feel like we actually wrapped up our storyline. That's such like a that's so just blatantly not true.
yeah, yeah.
And so I figured at some point she'd come back. And actually, um, that the cutscene itself wasn't. But now that it's out, I'm going to talk about it. So the cutscene itself wasn't leaked, but or not the cutscene, but the trailer for Beyond Light. But someone posted on like 4chan or something. Like they outlined everything that happened in that trailer, and like everyone was calling it fake because it didn't because it like no I don't think anyone was really expecting them to bring the stranger in. So like
Yeah,
when I found out that that leak was true, I was like my mind was blown.
yeah. It's kind of funny
I
though.
like my jaw was like on the floor. I was like, holy shit, the leak was actually true. Okay,
Where does
so
that bring you? Back to me.
yeah. So from what I understand, the pyramid on the moon is dormant, but the pyramid on Europa looked like it was active. So how do you feel about the darkness like finally being in the solar system and playing a bigger part in the Destiny universe?
Oh, I am stoked. Honestly, I am so excited. And, like we've had. I think it's a good idea to finally bring like the darkness in, because I mean we always say, like, even since Destiny 1, like, oh, the darkness, but like we never take it into perspective, like, well, this guy, like traveler, the traveler came out of nowhere, and like he saved us, quote unquote, and he gave us powers, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's like the good guy. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
So
yes. Okay, and
so
keep going, keep going.
like bringing that darkness in, like, I'm intrigued, and like Eris, like even in this campaign, I don't know if like I'm kind of going to rant, but like
No, go ahead.
in like I don't know, some point in the story, I think it's this the newest storyline that they dropped, but she keeps on like saying, like, maybe the darkness isn't as bad as we think,
Right, right, and
and
she's
like
like trying to communicate
and
with it.
yeah, yeah, and like Eris has always been able to, like, much as I don't know, she's not my favorite character, but she's always had, like, I don't know. I think she's pretty in touch with the darkness, and she knows stuff that we don't know yet, and she's about to
Yeah,
show us. So
and I
that's gonna be fun to see.
and I think that's one of the interesting things about Beyond Light is that all three of those characters in the reveal trailer, all three of them have a pretty close connection to the darkness, right? Like you have
Yeah,
Drifter, which captures and somehow, to some extent, tames the Taken because he uses it in Gambit, and he
yeah,
even this is kind of going into the Season of Arrivals discussion later, but in the Contact public event, one of his lines is like, "Hey, hey, those aren't my Taken. Those stooges are messing up my bank."
yeah,
And like emphasis on the my Taken, right? So he has. I wouldn't say he has some influence over the Taken that he captures, but he's acquainted enough with the darkness that he can actually capture Taken, which is
wow,
interesting.
that is interesting.
And we know the stranger is from like some alternate timeline or universe or something where the darkness wins, because she kind of alluded to that in Vanilla Destiny, and she outright says it in the gameplay trailer for Beyond Light. But before we get in deeper into that stuff, because I have more of that to talk about later. Um, the how did you see that little like the little thing traveling around with her?
No, I didn't.
It's like in the reveal trailer. It's like some like I want to say it's a ghost because it looks like a ghost, but I know it's not. I don't know. It's weird. Um, but I have a theory on it that I'll wrap into later because I want to cover because after I talk about this, that'll be the end of the reveal trailer stuff. So the pre, so okay, first things first. Are you gonna pre-order?
Um, I don't know. I haven't looked at the buying options, but I don't know because I got the deluxe edition when it first came out. I don't know if this falls under like the deluxe edition, like having being able to have the season passes.
Mm.
Like I have the season pass, like where you can get like the new expansions that drop, but I don't know if it was for the first two or if I'll be able to have this one too. But if I don't, then I'll probably pre.
All right, all right. So I'm asking you that because they released the pre-order bonuses, right? You get an emote, which is like fine. You get a ghost shell, which we'll talk about later because the lore in that ghost shell that you get is very important. And the thing that I have my eyes on is the one of the confirmed exotics coming back is No Time to Explain. And if you pre-order, you get No Time to Explain, you get an ornament, and you get the catalyst. No Time to Explain has been like probably my favorite. No, that's not true. Because I talk about my favorite gun all the time. It's not No Time to Explain. But one of my favorite guns, one of them is No Time to Explain because the Stranger's Rifle was probably my favorite legendary gun in Destiny 1 aside from Eidolon Ally. Speaking of Eidolon Ally, for the audience, I talk about Necrochasm all the time and how much I love it. which is why I quickly corrected myself on why the No Time to Explain's not my favorite gun. But dude, No Time to Explain, they already brought back Bad Juju. If they bring back Necrochasm, like I will never ever give Bungie shit ever again. I'll be happy forever.
Well, that's if they do it well. If they bring it back right.
Honestly, like if it's just in the game, I'll be happy because it was in the Dark Below, it was dog shit, and I still love that thing like it was my firstborn son.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm probably gonna pre-order just for No Time to Explain, but
Yeah.
um, I think the deluxe edition is like the Shadowkeep deluxe edition where you get the season passes for the whole year. So, but I didn't get the deluxe edition for Shadowkeep, but I am gonna get the deluxe edition for this one. Okay, so moving on to the big stuff, the gameplay trailer. So,
Sure.
did you what did you think of Europa from what you saw?
I'm very excited. It's like if we haven't really had um like a planet with this kind of climate before. Like we've
Yeah,
had
I was gonna say
Mars
the
where it
exact same
has
thing.
like yeah, like it has like Mars kind of has like what is it, MMO approach and all that stuff where it's kind no
Yeah, no, you're right.
where
The
there's like
Nemo approach.
ice yeah like it has the ice stuff on it and that but like gonna be a lot of cool gear they're gonna introduce. Like I think that'll have different appearances based on the climate because all of the factions like that are on planets, not factions, like the people who are on the planets, like the guy on Io, I forget his name, but the
Asher.
guy without his arm, like he has specific armor that is like meaning to the planet and to the story on the planet.
Yeah,
So I think it's gonna be cool because that's gonna introduce different kinds of armor and different.
yeah. My hunter's finna be looking like Pathfinder from season 3. um, I completely agree. I think it's definitely really cool looking. I'm excited to see because undoubtedly because we know the new Fallen are going to be there, and there's normally two or three other. No, I'm sorry, not two or three more, but two or three in general. Um, alien factions on the planet. So we know the new Fallen are going to be there. I suspect that the Hive are going to be there because if where there's a pyramid, there's the Hive, and maybe like I don't know, like Scorn. I can see them putting Scorn or like maybe some Vex. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty done with Cabal for right now, and I'll talk about
Yeah,
that
that's
more in a minute because I have this huge 200 IQ big brain theory that I want to share with you.
okay.
And so throughout ever since the Taken King, because the Taken King was the first expansion in Destiny history to introduce a quote unquote new enemy type. How do you feel about not getting a new alien race, but just like a new twist on an existing one? Would you rather? Are you one of those people that is like a strong advocate for new, like a new alien race, or how do you feel about the reskins?
Well, I mean, I think there's a solid argument for both sides, right? So, like at this point, they've kept like the same like enemies like for from vanilla with all the expansions almost throughout the everything. They've just modified them. Like you had the Scorn, like Taken, and then you had like the Siva. Like people were affected by Siva,
Yeah, the
and
Sea of
but like
Fallen.
there was yeah, they've like always been Fallen, Hive, Vex, Cabal. But the ones they've affected the most have been the Fallen and the Hive. Really,
Yeah, because
those are those,
go ahead, go ahead.
those are just I think in my opinion they did it because those are the easiest ones to do. Like, how can you? I mean, they did it with the
Yes.
Cabal too, with like the Red Legion.
Hmm.
They were still just Cabal. Like, they didn't change how they looked or
Yeah,
anything. It's just, I mean, like if the Scorn, like that's very different from, you know,
yeah,
like, um. So I think just like giving, it's not bad, but I think it'd be really refreshing and almost good for the game to introduce something new because like I don't know about you, but like when you go to planets to like do bounties and stuff, like maybe gunsmith bounties, and like you're killing the same stuff over and over and
yeah,
over again.
yeah.
I mean, like, and you've been doing that for like what six
7 years
six
now.
years now.
7 years in
Yeah,
Beyond Light.
it'd be nice to just have like a new race and just experience something new. Like, how long have we had like fall like hive ogres in the game? Like having a new
Yeah,
boss,
and
having a
then a
new
War Mind. Go,
ability.
go kill some Ice Hive. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like it's just a strike. I mean, like, but it's just a strike. It's just patrol. But like seeing something new besides like just new story and nothing else. I mean, like that would be refreshing. But then again, I mean, you could also argue that having the same enemies from vanilla, you keep some of that like meaning, but you
yeah,
just
like
give
the
them new abilities
coherence in
and
the
you kind of like
story.
yeah. So it's definitely safer to not introduce a new race, but it would definitely be way cooler to see a new race. I think.
Yeah. Um. So here's my big brain 200 IQ theory. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So I think you're right about what you said. The fact that the Hive and the Fallen are the easiest to reskin. Cause I was in the shower like yesterday or the day before thinking about like um this topic, right? This topic because I wanted to talk with you about it, and I was like, pretty much every other expansion, like it's Hive Fallen. Like
Yeah, yeah,
there's never been a Cabal expansion, and there's never been a Vex expansion ever.
yeah,
And they're supposed to be in Destiny 1. There's supposed to be a Vex expansion, but they got cut in place of Rise of Iron. And as far as we
Which was
know,
Fallen with Siva.
yeah, let's make the House of Devils red.
Yeah.
Oh, but I guess you could say Christopher Cyrus was kind of a Vex themed one, but there's also more Red Legion stuff in that one too. So I guess they kind of mushed them together in that one. But
Yeah.
Warmind was Hive.
Oh yeah. All the
Shadowkeep
way.
was Hive. Forsaken was Scorn, which is just Fallen. Like that's the
Yeah.
same thing as Fallen Siva. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I was like, I bet you they wanted to add a new race in Destiny 2, but they couldn't. And so now they've been trying to kind of wrap up all the storylines with every race, right? And here's my fucking 200 IQ big brain theory, okay? Even though it seems like Bungie isn't going anywhere with the story, like, at least in terms of, like, the seasons have been, like, if you've been playing Destiny lately, you know, like, the seasons haven't been connected, like, at all.
Yeah. No, they really
like,
have.
like we blew up the Almighty, and now the darkness is here, and Rasputin got kicked to the curb in, like, the first minute of Season of Arrivals.
Yeah.
So there's no cohesive story in
Yeah.
the seasons, at least.
You.
And so here's what I think. So we have the Fallen, another Fallen reskin coming in Beyond Light, right? And so throughout Destiny 2, or maybe not the whole lifetime, but since, let me see, Mithrax. No, it's all Destiny 2 because Mithrax is in vanilla. So for those of you that don't know, Mithrax is a fallen captain. He's now a Kel, but he was a captain that defected from the Fallen and created his own house, and he's been working alongside the Guardians ever since Destiny Vanilla, right? And the first official time that you work with him is the 0 hour mission, and it's kind of yeah. By the way, for the audience, me and Owen did 0 hour. We two-manned it. I've um he doesn't have a hard not hard light. He doesn't have mountaintop, right? So I had to run mountaintop, hard light, and I ran. I think I don't remember what I ran for my heavy, but it was fucking hard. Okay,
Yeah. Got down
we
to like
played
the last
we played
second.
0 hour for a total of like 6 hours before we finally beat it. And the final, I'm thinking about uploading the footage to YouTube because I have the footage. I shit you not. He dies at the last second,
Yeah,
and
I
I
got
barely
gang banged by like six ads at the same time.
in the last it says time remaining 0 minutes and 0 seconds. I turned around and I killed a marauder, and we barely passed it.
Yeah.
So funny. So I'll probably upload that footage to YouTube, but that's why we were laughing about 0 hour, just for context.
Yeah, the
Anyway.
6 hours quest was pretty tough.
Oh gosh, man. Um. So anyway, Mithrax, right? We worked with him in 0 hour to stop Aramis, right? And we know Aramis is going to be the new villain in Beyond Light because Bungie already said that. So here's my theory, right? Because the Fallen have never been able to come together in the history and Destiny history, right? Skolas tried it, he failed. Axis tried it, he failed. And ever since Destiny 2 Vanilla, no one's tried to bring them together, and we're seeing Aramis trying to bring them together once again with this new darkness power. And so what I think is going to happen is we're going to kill Aramis, and Varix is going to be involved somehow because they've hinted at Varix, and that's why I was talking about that ghost shell in the pre-orders, because Varix is hinted at being either he's working with Aramis somehow, or maybe he's been captured by her, but he's going to be involved in this story, and Varix has a lot of enemies right now. So what I think is going to happen, we're going to kill Aramis, and then if we don't kill Varix, or Varix isn't killed by Aramis, then he's going to anoint Mithrax the Kel of Kels, right? Because Mithrax has his own house called the House of Light, and
Oh,
so Mithrax is going to become the Kel of Kels, and he's going to be the Kel that's destined to bring the Fallen together. And from now
that's awesome.
on, we're going to be seeing a lot more Fallen working together with us and Beyond Light, and that'll kind of bring the Fallen story to an end, right? And
Yeah,
the Cabal story has pretty much been over since
that's cool.
Osiris, because we killed everyone. We stomped out the rest of Red Legion and Trials of Osiris and Curse of Osiris, and in the season of the Worthy, we saw that like one of the last like the backup person in charge try to crash the Almighty in the Earth, and we killed her, and she failed. So the Cabal are pretty much
Yeah,
done.
the assistant.
Yeah, the assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
um, so the Cabal are finished pretty much because Callus is. I don't know if he's the reigning emperor or if he's about to be, because I've been in the Cabal like kind of lore. Don't really know anything, but we do know that Callus loves us, and he even hired us to clear out the Leviathan
Yeah,
in
kill his
Crown of
own men.
Sorrow. Yeah. So the Cabals.
Kill my guys, they'll give you some cool stuff at the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll give you Recluse, except it's an exotic and it kind of sucks.
end.
Um, but um, yeah. So the Cabala's storyline's done, right? And the so is the Fallen One. If my theory comes to fruition, will be done with Beyond Light. Um, Now Bungie announced the next two expansions are the Witch Queen and Lightfall. Lightfall, I'm gonna talk about in a minute, but the Witch Queen, we know who the Witch Queen is, which is Savathun. They've been hyping her up since Taken King.
I'm excited. She sounds badass.
Yeah, and I hope she looks badass too. Like, imagine like
Yeah.
this giant wizard raid. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's what I don't get. How do the bosses get so giant? Because like you see like these little fallen and they're tiny. Like they're like the same kind of people. Do they just like grow up? Are those like young fallen? They're fighting grown up fallen as the boss.
So
Okay, I never got like they're just like
it
one
depends.
step.
It depends on the race. Um, Cabal and Vex, I have no idea, because we've seen some big ass Minotaurs. I don't, like them boys never miss leg day, ever.
No, they don't.
So I have no idea
What
for the
else?
Cabal and the Vex how they get to be so grown, but for the Fallen, the Fallen, other than Dregs, because Dregs, if you don't know, at birth, if you're birthed a Dreg, then the Fallen rip your arms off, and that's why the Dregs only have two arms. And Dregs are kind of like destined to be like the goons of the Fallen. But Vandals, as long as you're a
Getting
Vandal, um, you can become anything, right? Like all the Fallen start as a Vandal, and the more ether they get, like they go up in rank, right? So from Vandal to Captain, Captain to Archon Priest to Kel. And that's why servitors are so valuable to them, because the servitors gather ether and they distribute them to the Fallen, which is what they need to live and what they use to grow. Um, as far as the hive getting so giant, um, that is through the sword logic. And as far as I know, there's no concrete definition to what the sword logic is, so I'm gonna make it super brief for you and the audience. So if you don't know what the sword logic is that the Hive Knight swords um, are actually alive. They're given to the Hive through a pact with the darkness, through a pact with the warm gods, right? And so every time that they kill something, they absorb its power, and they grow. The Hive grow, but even though they're growing, so does the appetite of the sword, right? So the more that they grow, the more that they need to kill, which is why Oryx was so giant and why he could take things, and why Crota was giant and had the giant sword, because he killed all those guardians on the moon.
damn. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
That's really cool. I actually like that a lot.
yeah. And kind of sidetracking here, it's been theorized. We're not even theorized. It's been pretty much all but confirmed that the sword logic to some extent flows through every being, right? Because we know Mara Sov has a throne world and she's not Hive. We saw the Mindbender in Forsaken. He had a throne world even though he was fallen. Um, and so I have a feeling that the Guardian has a throne world and we're gonna enter it at some point. But
What do you mean throne world?
so a throne world is basically a portion of the Ascendant Realm that you get and that grows with your power, right? Like that's why you can't kill like the big hive guys like Crota, Oryx, the Mindbender, and Marasov too. The reason why you can't kill them like on Earth, like let's just say Crota was on the moon, right?
Hmm.
Even if we killed Crota, he wouldn't actually be killed, right? He'd just be weakened and he'd retreat into his throne world, which is what grows with their sword, right? Or with the sword logic. In order to kill a powerful being like that, you need to travel into the throne world and kill them there, right? Which is why you have to do a raid to kill Crota because you have to travel into his throne world. Same way with Oryx, like even though you quote unquote kill him in the Regicide mission, he's not actually dead. You have to go kill him in his throne world, which is the King's Fall raid.
It's dope.
Yeah,
Seriously.
and that's another reason why Mara Sov's not dead because she's in, I guess, the Ascendant realm or her throne world, whatever she wants to call it.
Oh, okay.
Because she's supposed to be hella powerful too.
I'd like to see more of her.
I'm sure we will, especially with Varix coming back into the scene.
Yeah.
But
She
anyway,
did
back
more
to
with
my
faith and stuff.
big brain 200 IQ theory, right? So, the Fallen, the Cabal, their storylines are taken care of. We know that the Witch Queen is the next expansion. So my theory is that after we kill Savathun, and Nokris too, because it was revealed that Nokris isn't dead, and
Chris,
like
which one's that again?
Nokris?
Yeah.
Nokris is Oryx's second son.
You fight him somewhere.
Yeah, you fought him. We fight him in one of the strikes on Mars. But it turns out he's not dead. He's actually working for Savathun. And so, and like I said, like we didn't kill him in his throne world. We only killed him on Mars. So, my
Couldn't that
theory
be
is
said
that
for Omnigul too?
maybe I'm not completely sure. I'm not sure how. Maybe she wasn't powerful enough. Like I think that maybe, to my understanding, maybe she didn't kill enough to have in a throne world yet, so she just kind of died.
Oh, okay.
I don't know completely. That's just from what I understood. But anyway, so in the Witch Queen, we know it's gonna revolve around Savathun. Nokris is, if he's not dead by Witch Queen, we're definitely gonna kill him in Witch Queen for sure. In fact, I would put money on him being dead before we get there, and if not get there, then we're gonna kill him in the raid.
Oh,
And
kind of like a
so,
side boss.
yeah, yeah, and so we're gonna kill Nokris for damn sure. And I'm not sure if they're gonna come. I would reckon that we kill off Savathun, and after that, like, I don't think there's not a. I mean, there's still the worm gods, but the only worm god that we've seen is Zol. Like none of the other worm gods have really looked for trouble. So I think
Honestly, I don't want to fight another one.
gonna gonna develop a fetish about fighting more worm gods.
Oh no.
But I think after we kill Nokris and Savathun, there's not really any, to my knowledge, there's not any really high-ranking hive left. So we'll probably see more hives still, because the worm gods will still be giving birth. But there's not going to be any like big hive or taken names. And so after Witch Queen, the whole hive storyline would be kind of wrapped up. So out of all the main races, they've all been wrapped up except the Vex. And honestly, they might leave it open-ended, because like, how do you kill a living machine with one mind? Like, it doesn't. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
even do that.
I don't know how they're gonna kill the Vex, especially with like the forest and stuff, where they can just like go to a timeline and then come back and I
Yeah.
don't even know. Like, there's just so much shit the
I
Infinity
don't know.
Saga
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't know if it's even possible to kill the Vex. So I don't know for sure if they're going to wrap up the Vex storyline. But all the storylines for all the races are going to be wrapped up now, and then Lightfall is going to come. And you were talking about that earlier, and I think I told you about this. So, um, if you don't know, for the audience, before Destiny came out, the original story was supposed to be that we worked with Aldrin, to stop the Traveler because the Traveler was secretly evil. And like we were talking about, Eris has been kind of hinting maybe the Darkness isn't so bad. And like exactly that you pointed out, the Traveler just kind of came along and like just gave us powers, but we don't. We only work for the Traveler because that's where we get our power from. Like, but now we're gonna get power from the pyramids, and I don't know if the Traveler's gonna like that very much.
Ooh.
And I think and Aldrin came back to life, right? And she says Aldrin's line in the trailer. So I think the Exo Stranger has interacted with Aldrin and probably the Queen to some extent, because she says the line that he sends at the end of the Forsaken campaign. Um, the line between light and dark is so very thin. What side do you find yourself on?
If we just get, I mean, like, cause on the line that on the like on that like or whatever that is in the trailer, like it doesn't seem like you're totally dark, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
Or
kind of
what
like
if
Oh
like
no,
a
go ahead,
hybrid?
finish.
It feels like the next super look. It looks like a hybrid. Like it doesn't look like it looks like it the darkness corrupted your light. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah, because there's evidence that that kind of power works because that's what we did with Illumina. With Lumina, a lot of people like to think that Lumina is like Thorn is the dark hand cannon, Lumina is the light hand cannon. That's 100% not true. That's a misconception. The Although yeah, Thorn is the dark hand cannon, Lumina was not forged in light. If you read the Lumina lore and the lore as you go out through the crest, you know that you take the original Thorn from Dredgen Yor, and instead of completely cleansing it to the light, you actually infuse light and dark together to make Lumina. So we know that that power works, but we haven't quite wielded it with a subclass like we're going to in Beyond Light. And so I think what's going to happen is that now that they will have had, by Lightfall, all of the alien storylines would be wrapped up pretty much. So Lightfall, I think they're going to 180 back to the original story, and we're going to bring down the Traveler. Because we know that the Traveler left the Fallen once it found out it was in trouble. And that's what led the Fallen to be a scavenger people, and that's what they called the Whirlwind, and that's what we called the Collapse for us. And that's when the Traveler went dormant. And so Lightfall Lightfall can have a double meaning. Like Lightfall doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So that's my 200 IQ big brain theory.
You
That's a
big brain.
lot,
That is because that explains like
but it makes
every
sense, right? Like um I feel like it's not really like reaching either. Like I think it's all pretty sensible.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. Am I a lore god? We'll find out in 3 years.
I mean, you called something else. I don't remember what it was, but you called something else. Like I don't remember, but I remember you calling something else in lore, and
And it
you're
happened.
freaking out. Yeah, yeah. It happens. I swear. Every time you say you want something in the game, you get
Yeah,
it.
no,
Like
no, that's
over.
another thing too. Is I have footage of that too. Is like when we started playing, when we came back this season or last season rather, like I would I would say, okay, you know what, wouldn't it be cool if I had this exotic, and then dead ass it would just drop.
Yeah,
And
and then
dude,
it goes to me. I'm like, can I have the Helmet Saint 14 ornament? No, here's the bronze cattle, bronze ornament for was it Heart of Inmost Light?
Yeah, Heart of Inmost Light. Or
Thanks.
here's a blast furnace with snapshot slide shot.
Oh my gosh. I think that's in my vault. I hope it's in my vault because that is Trickster isn't dead if he gave me that.
Okay, do you remember what exotic I told you was gonna drop for me next last time we talked?
It was like Monte Carlo or something.
No. It was a hunter exotic. Do you remember which one it was?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, on God, last time for the audience, if you guys don't believe me, on God, last time we talked, I was like, I have a feeling that like a raspberry is gonna drop for me next. And I got on my hunters today, and I went to Zur, and I got the engram, and I got lucky raspberry.
Oh my gosh.
I know, man. My luck has been out of this world.
Oh my gosh. I literally have to get every other exotic through those engrams before I get the one I want because it's the only one I can get. Well, you can't get anything else, so it is your only option. One you wanted in the first place. Yeah, I still have that blast furnace. What is it? What is it? Hot mag, extended mag, snapshot sights, slide shot.
And the
Handling
reason
fast.
the reason why that's important is because he's been grinding for a good blast furnace for a while. And the
It's
first,
been like I'd say a month now at least.
yeah, and I had to get I had to do this rare bounty where you have to kill stuff with all the Black Army weapons equipped. I was like, okay, I'll try to get a blast furnace. And so the first blast furnace I ever forged, I got Feeding Frenzy kill clip. And if you don't know, that's the best roll. That's pretty much the god roll.
That's so good.
All right, so that's about it for the Beyond Light stuff. There's a couple of things that they've revealed kind of on the side. Um, so did you see the legendary gun that they revealed?
No, but I had a quick question on the boss for Beyond Light.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard all this talk about Savathun, but who's that fallen guy with the darkness? Who is he? You
She,
mentioned him, and it is it's the guy from something. He has a connection with the guy from Zero Hour, but what is that
yeah,
connection? I
okay.
don't.
So, I think that's what a lot of people, like not only you, but a lot of people kind of don't know who Aramis is, which is makes sense because she's only mentioned here and there, and she's been mentioned recently in the lore a lot. So Aramis is a fallen captain who was trapped or captured, and she was put in the prison of elders. And when the barons escaped, she broke out and she returned to Earth, only to find that we pretty much all of the houses from the fallen have been destroyed either by each other or by us.
Yeah.
And so she, we don't know why, but we know that she wanted a place of power in the fallen leadership. So her first gripe at this was to break into the old tower and steal Siva so that she could have Siva and use it to bring the fallen back and make them great again, right? And we stopped her with Mithrax, and that was a 0 hour mission. And now
Oh,
she's
and
taken
that's
the
where we
House of
got
Devils
Outbreak
to
perfected.
Europa, and she's gone to use the darkness to try and bring the fallen together.
Oh, so she went to Europa to get the darkness.
Yeah. We don't know
Oh,
why she went there, but we know that obviously, yeah, since the trailer revealed that she's there now.
okay. I have a quick question. I just saw this ornament on Restore. It's called Wishes of Sorrow. I know we were talking about um Born and Lumina, but this ornament it looks a lot like like I mean like a lot. The base, you know, like how weapons when they're based off of tell if it's like a Taken gun. Whisper of the it's Whisper of the Worm.
Yeah.
Like it's Taken orient.
Mm-hmm.
Malfeasance it's orient. It's gonna have that power, some sort of power attributed that necessarily isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I wanted to know if maybe that had some meaning. It's like um certain certain I like certain guns, like especially those guns, like those have like Destiny 1, like they have lore with them, or like they were created in special ways, like Outbreak.
Yeah.
I know there was another version of that in D1, wasn't there?
Yeah, Outbreak Prime.
Outbreak Prime, yeah, Outbreak Prime, and like that's Siva, like that's the Siva gun. It's
Mhm.
created for Siva. It was created from Siva, I think. Or either way, it's from Siva. It's Siva
Yeah.
oriented, and like Horn is hive oriented, and Luma is hive oriented, isn't too, right?
Mhm.
So like you think, like we have Lord of Wolves, that's kind of like Fallen oriented,
Yeah.
definitely, and like they're like all of these like exotics. I'd say even Bad Juju's. Bad Juju's really hive oriented,
Mhm.
just because like the way it looks and the looks it has.
Yeah.
But another thing, what do you think? You think like they're gonna bring a new gun in with the darkness? Because like, I know like that's necessarily a power, but if there haven't been that many guns distributed with. I should take that back. That's
I mean, kind of
I'm
not
saying.
not like pure darkness though. Like
Yeah,
we've had darkness in like the Taken or Hive sense, but not like from straight from the darkness.
yeah. Like it's not. It's we always we have like the Terrabo. That's the raid exotic. We have Thousand Voices. Have um, Jotun, and then like these are all guns that like symbolize something. Kind of like I don't know the best word to say it, but like I don't know, like trophies in a sense. Like when you see
Oh,
them, you
okay.
know the past behind them. Like Sleeper Simulant, that's a huge one. You
Yeah,
have
like totally
yeah,
Warmind.
yeah, and then like when I see the Wardrift Coral, I think immediately of like Earth, like old D1
Yeah,
Earth.
like Cosmodrome Earth.
Yeah. Then you have don't like the Leviathan's Breath, obviously from the raid. Then like Deathbringer, like the Queenbreaker's Bow, the Legend of Acris. Like those are all guns like attributed with certain kind of enemies, and
Mhm.
some even from the new enemies. Like I would say Anarchy, like that kind of has like that's really fallen.
Yeah.
That's um. I wonder with of this new set of enemies if they're gonna bring new ones that have really important, just like the storyline. I can explain more about the darkness and its capabilities. 'Cause I think we've only had glimpses of its true power. We can see through Lumina what it can do. We see through Thorn what the light can do, right? 'Cause the
Yeah.
light made Thorn, not the darkness. But the light and the darkness made Lumina. So it's like it's a weird balance. Like all the other kinetic, the last word that's just made to Spade, Cerberus, Jade Rabbit, like all that stuff. Like those guns, like Malfeasance, where does that power come from? What was that? I don't know. I don't know the lore on it. But that's only a glimpse of what it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, like what that power can really do. Like there's no other like besides Thorn and I don't think there's another gun that really shows maybe bad juju. Not
In
a
in
one that really shows what the darkness can do.
and in Destiny 2, not really. And I do have a couple of things like to add on to what you're saying. So like from a pure darkness weapon perspective, I think we're about to see that in Season of Arrivals, the new trace rifle that um they've shown that's going to be the exotic quest, or one of them at least. I'm not going to talk about it
Yeah,
because that's been leaked to all hell, and sort of the abilities and stuff. If you want to see that, go look it up. But in the gameplay trailer, it looks pretty darkness oriented. It looks like the guns that we've been getting from the Humble Ingrams, right? Like those guns are connected to the darkness, at least the most connected that we've ever seen, aside from the weapons of sorrow, which I'll talk about in a minute. But they shoot like they don't shoot bullets. They shoot some kind of like purified energy, almost like
Yeah.
Amalon, but not quite. So I'm curious to see if they even expand on that, like expand on what that is. Like maybe it's calcified darkness or some shit. I don't know. But as far as the weapons of sorrow go, um, like you were talking about, Thorn is the only one that we have in D2. There's been discussion about maybe some other guns could be considered weapons of sorrow, like maybe Malfeasance, maybe Whisper of the Worm, but the only confirmed things in the lore that we have as weapons of sorrow are Thorn, which is because it was originally Rose, which was corrupted by the darkness, and it became so powerful that it can drain a guardian's light without killing the ghost. And then
Okay.
the Necrochasm, which is which relies heavily on the sword logic, and the sword logic is actually used to make it Necrochasm, right? Because you get it Husk of the Pit, then as you kill more, it grows into Eidolon Ally, and you have to kill more to grow it into um,
It's kind of like the sword theory. Like you,
Necrochasm. Right,
or you
right.
more
It
powerful, it
relies on
gets
the
the more.
sword logic, yeah. And so I have a very very strong feeling that with the introduction of all this darkness stuff, if we don't do it in Beyond Light, then we're gonna do it in the Witch Queen for sure. Is that I feel like where the Guardian, is gonna make a brand new Weapon of Sorrow.
See, that would be really really
That'd be a
cool.
really cool quest, and maybe that might even be the Trace Rifle. Because the
Maybe.
only stuff that I've seen that's been leaked about the Trace Rifle, I'm not going to talk about it, but it only pertains to the quest steps and the abilities of the gun. I haven't seen any of the lore or anything like that. I don't know if any of that stuff like that has been leaked yet. But maybe, because I have no idea what that Trace Rifle quest is going to have us do. So, I don't know, maybe that could be it, but I feel like that's definitely something that's going to happen. Especially with Eris and Drifter experimenting with the darkness a lot. And we
Yeah.
know, like we were talking about earlier, that the the strangers from a parallel universe where the darkness wins, and um, that kind of plays into what we were talking about earlier. Is that maybe in her universe the darkness is bad, or maybe it wasn't bad, and the Traveler actually used the darkness against humanity or something like that. And so that's why she's coming to our universe to try and help us out and make us realize that. So I don't know. But I think that would be a really, really awesome quest, making a weapon of sorrow to use against the darkness.
Yeah. Exactly. I really agree. And another thing that just kind of popped in my head, like you say, like it's because it's really deceiving. Like when you see Thorn, you think this had to be like made by evil. Like there's no way it wasn't. But to
Mm-hmm.
know that it was made by light, there's no way to know. I mean, off of that theory, if that's made by light, then what is then how can we see the traveler as good?
Right, because the
Because the
thorn,
traveler is light.
yeah, because the thorn is was made by a guardian who wielded light and knowingly corrupted it, his weapon with darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, thorn is more dark than light, obviously, but still, there's
Oh
still
yeah.
light. And the same thing with Lumina. The Lumina is supposed to be more of like the balance. So,
Anakin supposed to be.
yeah. Well, oh, okay. Well, we talked about the that legendary gun. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I would go look at it. It like
Which one? Legendary gun?
they revealed a legendary during their charity stream, and the entire community is divided on what it is. Because it looks kind of like a pulse rifle. It looks kind of like a scout rifle because the stock. it looks like a shotgun because there's a pump on the bottom. The community cannot agree on what this thing is. But we're running into
Oh,
an hour here, so
oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna try and wrap some things up. So Hawkman returning, how do you feel about that? And especially with the fact that they're taking away its exotic perk.
I'm excited. It's gonna be good to see that again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know how good it's gonna be, but I'm excited to see how they rework it because the way it was in D1, I don't think that's gonna fly.
Yeah.
So another thing they definitely need, just real quick going off of that, they need to fix the the weapon balance because it's not it's not balanced
Yeah,
because
right now, um,
I was in a Crucible today, not today, yesterday. I was today because it was like 5 in the morning, but um, yeah, like I got killed by like a gnawing hunger in like less than a second, and it's not even to the point because like Destiny you have so many abilities. Like in other games, like you don't have like taking Call of Duty. Call of Duty, it's just Call of Duty is basically who gets off the first shot,
yeah,
right? Because if you don't get the first shot, the odds of you surviving go down exponentially. Like
yeah,
you will not survive.
and kind
Um,
of before you go on, that's kind of like a reason why we gravitated more towards Apex Legends than Warzone. And when the time comes for that episode, I'm sure we'll talk about the comparison. But we found ourselves not enjoying Warzone because of exactly what you said. Whereas in
yeah,
Apex Legends, it's really easy to turn a fight around if you're the better player. But go
exactly.
on.
Yeah, like just not to dwell on Apex too much, but like you can like that possesses abilities where you can phase out of fights, get out of fights, and just like Destiny, you can put up a barrier, you can control a lane with a Titan, you can
Mm,
put up a healing rift to put up an empowering rift, you dodge to reload your weapons, you can dodge to start health rotation, all those things. It's not so much how good you are with a gun. If you can find, I mean that helps definitely,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
it's
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 about
not just who
outplaying your
gets the first
opponent.
shot. Yeah, exactly. That's really makes this game so cool because all these guns you can make so many different builds, and that's one thing they did with the rework in Destiny 2 with the mods.
Hmm.
That I mean, like I was kind of impartial to it at the beginning, but that's just I didn't know how to use it. Character a beast in this. You can make him a beast. Find a loadout. You grind to get the good guns,
Hmm.
and you understand how to play. You have that game sense of when to use your ability, when to use your super, and when to. And this is really in PVE, but PvP, but it applies to PVE too.
Yeah,
But like you really control lanes like with the Titan barrier, and that's what I love about him. Like I love playing Titan. It's like you always have those guys like hard scoping in the back, and that pisses me off. But that's another. But yeah. So like that's so different. But the problem is, auto rifles are so freaking good right now.
yeah,
They are so good.
and
Like even you like I was playing with Graviton, right? Graviton is like a three burst at almost any range,
yeah.
right? If you hit if you
Scout
hit
rifle
like
range on that thing, man.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And like I was at scout rifle range and I'm getting mowed down by a gnawing hunger. And I'm like,
Gnawing hunger. Zen moment and kill clip.
yeah, Zen moment, kill clip, like stability masterwork,
Work, accurate
600
rounds, the
fire
whole
rate,
9 yards.
yep. And then like has a magazine of like 60 bullets. Even if you miss like
Yeah,
10,
I
I
have
mean,
drop mag. I have drop
yeah,
mag on my Zen stability. Zen moment, kill clip one, and it's already at 43. And I think with
and
extended mag, you can get it upwards of 50 bullets.
that's what I'm like. I don't I like games where you have to practice to be good at the game. Right. I
Hmm.
really like those games. It's that's really in any in games like Warzone.
Well,
I
you
mean,
just have to be
it's
like on the. You just have to be on top of knowing where other people are. You don't necessarily have to
yeah,
have the best aim.
but it's different in other games because if you have like a good sniper on high ground, you you have a good chance to win the game.
Yeah, you win pretty much
Yeah,
if you're
it's
good.
it's in Destiny, it's not like that, and I'm afraid that I don't want it to get there, to where if you just use Gnawing Hunger and Felwinter's Lie, you're gonna win the game.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean? Or I guess you can't use Felwinter's energy.
yeah, Dust Rock using Long Hunger Dust Rock.
Yeah, and it gets really annoying because people just like ape, and then
Yeah,
it doesn't take. I mean, it doesn't take any skill. It's not like, and I know that might be mean to say. I know it's a good gun, but I mean, like, if you're just killing someone like that because
because you got the drop on
the
him.
gun's over, yeah, like it's not. It's just not how this game was supposed to be
Yeah,
played to get there, and that's one of the reasons I started leaving Destiny, because it started turning to that a while back. I don't remember when, but I remember like I was playing Crucible and I was just getting yoinked by the same.
the,
We talk about this. Oh wait, coming up or soon, but that's gonna help with the sun setting.
yeah, just
Is
making
that
making different
see
guns
that?
viable. And something that I think I told you, but like Season of Arrivals just like broke Destiny on my computer. So I couldn't play it, so I've been playing on PS4. But today, because they released that last hot fix, and then I updated my Windows to the latest thing or whatever, right? And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it today and see if it works. Maybe it will work. Like maybe something was messed up with one of the updates, and it corrected itself with these new ones, right? And so I got in today, um, and it was working fine, like it normally does. And I was like, um, so on for some, I guess some context on console, I'm not I'm not a bad player. Like I'm good. I'd say I'm in between like good or great. My KD sits around 1.7, 1.8 on my main. Um, and I'd say I have a good amount of game sense. Um, even if my
Yeah.
KD is not that good, I think I make a lot of good plays. Even if I'm going even. I haven't been to Legend yet, which I guess kind of takes away some of my credibility. But I play a lot of competitive either way, and I've been
Yeah.
really close to Legend. I've been up to Mythic one or two, and then this season alone, you and I are in Fabled because this season we're trying to get to Legend together.
Oh yeah, we've
But
been
anyway,
grinding
I'm just
cookies
saying
out.
that stuff to give some credibility to what I'm about to say. So I normally play on controller, but I like to play Destiny 2 on PC with mouse and keyboard, and that's the only shooter that I play with mouse and keyboard on my PC because I'm more comfortable with Apex in controller. But anyway, I hopped on, and like you were saying, on console, the meta is just dominated by auto rifles. Like you can't, like if you're not using an auto, it's very hard to compete um,
Oh yeah,
right
yeah,
now unless you're
very.
using one hit kill weapons like shotguns or snipers. Hand cannons aren't doing terribly. I'd say right now the primary meta is probably autos on top. Pulse rifles are actually starting to make a comeback, so I put pulse rifles below them, hand cannons beneath them, and then everything else is at the bottom. Like if you're not using those, you're not gonna compete. Like scout rifles are
Yeah.
dog shit right now. Um,
Gosh,
um, but I was on my PC, and there's a lot more diversity. Like,
yeah. Really.
and like I was saying, like my aim isn't even that good, but I was using a hand cannon, and I was still finding some good success. Like my best games using mouse and keyboard, and like I said, I never use mouse and keyboard. Um, my best games, my efficiency wasn't bad. It was sitting at like 1.8, 1.9. Where normally when I'm playing casuals on console, it sits around 3 or 4. Um, but I was finding success because it's so much easier to control hand cannons at range on PC than it is to do it on console.
Yeah.
I think what they needed to do, and I don't, if I'm being 100% honest, I highly doubt that they'll do this. But what they need to do on console or on controller in general is maybe dial back the aim assist a little bit, not a whole lot, because if you dial back too much, then nobody's gonna, because it's very hard to aim on controller precisely without aim
Yeah.
assist. So I think they should dial back the aim assist a little bit, but if you're using a controller across the board, stability should be increased. And
Wow.
that's what a lot of people have been saying is that if they just increase stability on controller, it would make a lot of weapons more viable. Because I was using Thorn and I was killing people from like 2 times the range I should have been on mouse and keyboard because it's so easy. Like it's point and click simulator. Like and like we were saying, like it's more so about like my game sense carries over from console to PC. So even if my aim's not as good as it is on console, I'm still able to maneuver around the map and outplay my opponents with my movement. And that
Yeah.
was one of the reasons why I was finding a good amount of success was because I was able to have decent aim because I've been practicing my aim a little bit on mouse and keyboard. But my game sense carried over and I was finding success. So hopefully Bungie does something to increase stability on controllers because honestly on console it's pretty bad right now, but on PC it like I was getting killed by everything and that's not a bad thing. Like I was getting killed by autos, hand cannons, pulse rifles. I think some people were even using scouts. And it felt good. Like people were using fusions, they were using snipers, they were using shotguns. I mean, that's not to say that they're all powerful weapons, right? Like Suros is in a good spot right now. Monte Carlo is really slept on right now. Awesome, really good gun with a really good exotic perk now, and I haven't seen many people using it. So that's Monte Carlo's in a good position. Crimson's doing strangely well right now. Um, what are some other exotics? Bad Juju is being slept on a lot. I've been finding a lot of success with Bad Juju.
I've been using Jad Boo Boo a lot.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say anything's OP right now. All around, everything's in an alright position. Scout rifles could use a buff to, I don't know, something. Scout rifles have not been in a good position since Destiny 2 Vanilla, which really
Yeah.
sucks because that's my favorite type of gun. But
Yeah.
like it's decently balanced right now. I think.
You think
I mean,
so?
on at least on PC, on like
Okay.
we were talking about on console, like auto rifles completely rule the meta,
Oh
and
yeah.
submachine guns are unusable, literally unusable unless you're using them in PVE. Like I have a God roll, I have a kill clip, Zen moment, accurized rounds, and then whatever the good barrel is for an anti-OD, but I can't use it because I simply cannot control the recoil. And like I said, that's why I kind of like gave up my stats to give a little bit of credibility because I'm a good player, but it's just impossible for me to use it at a decent range, right? Because on on PC you can use um a submachine gun from short to mid range, and that's one of the reasons why Recluse got hit so hard by the Nerf hammer because it was way too strong on PC. But on console, you cannot like you start to fall off like just outside of the short range with submachine guns because um their recoil becomes impossible to control, and by the time that someone's in short range, you're dead because they always have a shotgun if someone's getting that close to you.
Yeah.
But I think
And
stability rework across the board for controllers would really really help.
oh yeah. I would agree. Especially and I know you're talking about hand cannons. Like hand cannons, unless the stability on like malfeasance is pretty easy to use on controller.
Yeah.
But I mean, even though it's still, I don't know if it would eat a um, auto rifle like usage. But like Ace of Spades has a natural like odd recoil.
Hmm.
Like the recoil is very theatrical, meaning it takes up a lot of the screen.
Yeah,
It pops up
the vertical
really
kick.
far. Um, and, that without stability, like, just it's really hard to use it in PvP because it's just if you don't land your shots, which you won't, it's it's like not even usable.
Yeah, and
And some of some of the flinch from the auto rifles are ridiculous. Like, you might be aiming, you get hit once, and you're aiming to the top right of the screen now, and
yeah,
like that gets really annoying, especially Suros Regime. That thing is like someone throwing a baseball in your nuts.
yeah. I mean, and Soros regime being, I guess, kind of an exception because the rounds per minute gets insane towards the end of the mag. Same thing with Sweet
Yeah.
Business. But um, and and even though we have all these gripes with the meta right now, that's not to say if you use Ace of Spades on console, you're not going to find success. That's not
Oh
true.
yeah, yeah.
But you could find a
It
lot
just doesn't
more
compete
success
well.
if the stability was brought in line across the board. And I think 140s, like Ace in general, are just in a really, really bad spot. And hopefully, with Hawkmoon probably being a 140 when they bring it back, hopefully we'll see 140 and 110 hand cannons get a buff like they buffed high impact pulse rifles this
Yeah.
season. So, um, well, other than that, I mean, there's not. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
No. I mean,
Because we
I'm really
covered a lot of
excited.
ground. We're probably about an hour 30
Yeah.
right now.
No, we did cover a lot of ground. That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, a lot of good discussion. So,
Yeah.
anything, um, any shout outs that you want to make to your to any profiles that you have anywhere?
Follow me on Twitch. Follow me. No, no, no. Um, no. I'm good. I'm really excited for Destiny in the future. I think it can be a really good game. It is a really good game. I mean, I might say stuff about it, and then I'll still be playing it for a long time. But I mean, it's a really quality game, and I don't want to see it go down. Like I like how this is ramping up to play. I mean, like I'm a Star Wars fan, and I've always been like the Sith. I think the Sith are some of the coolest. So I'm excited
Oh yeah,
to play with like the darkness and because we've only known the light, we've only fought against the darkness. So I'm really excited to see what that brings. And another thing I wanted to say real quick is with the new dark subclasses, they're gonna have pieces of armor, right?
yes,
I think so, and I am so excited for that. As I mean, I think in the trailer, unless they change it, because that was pre-alpha
yeah, yeah.
footage. If they don't change it, then Titan's gonna get like a sword and a shield.
Either like a sword and a
I
shield, or just two giant like Hulk fists.
Yeah, um, and I
And there's supposed to be a lot of
really
customization too. That's what Luke Smith said, that it's not going to be like the subclasses we have now, where they're clumped together. That there's going to be more customization with these new subclasses. So
yeah, so like kind of making that subclass like the mod system. I like
yeah, or
that
like
where you have
the
to
subclasses we
pay
had in
for.
D1. Yeah.
That would be really cool. Like I'm just excited to see what because we've had a lot of the armor exotics have been kind of consistent. Like um like a lot of D1 like Helma Saint 14. That's like my favorite exotic for Titan. Um but like that's been in here since D1, right?
Yeah.
Like that's been in here for like a long time.
I'm pretty sure it was
And
D1 vanilla.
yeah, it was. And a lot of a lot of other things
Oh, and you still with us? Sounds like you might have gotten unplugged there.
Hello, hello.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, like what I was saying, like we have part of it most light. Like there's like a lot of new exotics, but the newest one of the newest ones they included like Severance Enclosure,
Hmm.
where powered melee kills and finishers unleash explosions.
Yeah,
I
which is basically
didn't
Felwinter's
think,
Helm for the Warlock.
yeah, I that didn't think that was very usable. And I'll tell you why. At least to my playstyle, like I put up barriers a lot, but if I'm using barriers or if I'm usually play War to Dawn, but like I always play War to Dawn.
Yeah,
But
this man is a living wall.
um, like if I'm gonna do that, I wouldn't want to use like that. Seems like a very specific
Very
playstyle.
niche. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very like it's like an exotic, and like that's an exotic. That's
yeah,
an exotic chess piece. Like why would you take that over Titan's Ramparts if you're playing Barrier?
yeah.
Why would you take that over Helm of Endless Light
And
or
I think
Helm of Stain 14 or Wide Mask or Acting Warwig if you're running an auto rifle? Oh, like
which you
or
probably
if you want to
would
put
right
up
now.
barriers, yeah, if you're running barriers, why not run Chest of Alpha Lupi where you heal right when you put a
Yeah,
barrier down. Like that's really usable in Crucible. Like that could change a fight. But
yeah.
like,
It's like the Wormhusk crown for uh hunters where they dodge and they get health back.
yeah, yeah,
But I think a lot of especially I think I've seen it the most on Titan. As a lot of Titan exotics are either really meh or really really like niche.
yeah.
Like hunters
And
easily have, in terms of usability, have the best exotics,
oh
and
my
warlocks have
goodness,
the best looking exotics.
yeah.
But at least
But
most of, well, maybe not most of, but a good amount of warlock exotics are like neutral. Like warlock has a lot of good neutral game exotics. Same thing with hunter, and Titan does not. Titan
oh
has very little neutral game exotics that are good.
yeah. And that's one thing. And just going off of that, like that's one thing. Like I've always struggled. I've always struggled with that. Like I love Titan. I love Titan. He's been like I've had the same character since drop. Always played Titan. And I really like him, but he's like he seems like in terms of usability, in terms of running the right thing in PvE and like um any sort of game mode in Destiny, like there are only a few exotics you really choose from. I never see anyone running Peacekeepers.
Yeah, I hardly see anyone running Syntheseps anymore either.
Yeah,
Or like you never see anyone running Feedback Fence. You never see anyone running Eternal Warrior, Chest of Inmost Light.
yeah.
Um, it's
MK44
always it's always when I
Standicides.
mask.
Yeah, and like Peregrine Greaves, I've never seen. Like it's like
Yeah.
Peregrine Greaves. There's a lot of memes about it. It's hilarious. But, like it's bonus damage on airborne shoulder charge. The thing that I could think of using that for is well, shoulder charge is already a one
It's
hit
already one hit
hit kill.
kill. It's only on either, I guess, if you want to run
Maybe a
Melting Point
super.
Airborne Charge for PvE, but like if you're gonna run Sunbreaker in PvE, why wouldn't you use Hallowfire Heart where the neutral game is through the roof?
Yeah, or using like Phoenix Cradle.
Or Phoenix Cradle,
These
yeah, same
yeah,
thing there.
like the same thing is like if you wanna run, let's say
Like
hammers.
the only thing Peregrine Greaves are useful for is just one hit killing supers in the
Yeah,
air with your shoulder charge. But like getting that close is extremely dangerous.
yeah, and I really like the armamentarium. Like you're gonna play like Striker and Crucible. There's already a perk in the subclass. You can get 2 grenades. I don't really think you need 3 grenades. So, I mean, that's up
Does
to
it
you guys. But
actually
like, I
stack?
think I don't know. I don't know if 2 is the max.
That'd be kind of crazy.
It would be crazy. But like, a lot of these exotics, like Worm God Karis. I mean, like, it just doesn't seem viable. It just doesn't seem good. They're like my circle of using Titan exotics. It seems very small.
Yeah.
And there are a good amount of them. Like there's 20 second or 28, I think. 28, almost 30 Titan exotics, and it feels like you can only use like you can make different builds, right? To where
Hmm.
you could accompany like different exotics and make a really good thing. But I feel like if you did that, it wouldn't compete with the better exotics.
Yeah.
Like you could make a whole setup using like Worm God Caress. I don't know how to say it, where melee kills increase melee damage,
Hmm.
right? And you could run strength, you could run other stuff, but it just doesn't seem like it's gonna be as good as running One-Eyed Mask, you know?
Yeah. In PvP at least. Yeah.
PvP, yeah. Like that's one of the biggest things that I want them to fix. I think that having new darkness subclass and having new exotics that could actually
I hope
really
we
be
get some
used
darkness
really well.
armor exotics. Like I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm really excited for where it's gonna go, and I'm really really excited for the darkness. I'm really excited for that because I don't know, you seem too good in this game.
Yeah. And
It's time to play the bad guys.
something that I'm hoping for so dearly, and it's kind of it's a definitely a reach. Um, I don't know. Um, I'm not sure how much of a reach I would consider it, but it's definitely a reach. Is that, well, one, I want them to bring back Necrochasm, right? At some point.
Yeah,
If I'm hoping they do it in Witch Queen because that would just make sense. If
yeah,
not before then. And but what I want to happen is Nokris. We know that Nokris is like a necromancer, right? So I hope that in playing with the darkness, like the warlocks get like a kind of necromancer ability, because I like looking like the hive, like the hive. I really like their aesthetic. Like I have all
yeah,
the hive stuff. I have the hive ship. I have the hive sparrow. I have the hive ghost shell. Everything.
yeah,
And
yeah,
my warlock, if because I don't think I've ever shown my warlock on in any of my videos, but he has like a definitely like a he's red and black and he has like a really like a necromancer vibe.
yeah.
So I hope that one of the new darkness subclasses that we get, because I'm sure that this one with Beyond Light isn't gonna be the last one. There's probably gonna be one with Witch Queen, and there's probably gonna be another one with Lightfall.
Wait, what?
A new
What?
subclass, like a new, not a new element, but a new super, right? Because
Yeah,
you know how,
yeah.
like, like
They,
the
Thunder
arc for
Crash
Warlocks
and
has, yeah, Thunder Crash and Fist of Havoc, or for Warlocks it's Chaos Reach and Storm Trance, so
yeah,
and whatnot. So I have a feeling we're gonna get two more Stasis supers, at least one, and so I hope
yeah,
that the Warlocks get like some Necromancer thing where they can bring, and maybe bring enemies back for the dead, or like maybe in PvP, like if they hit an enemy, like they'll be able to damage their teammates.
yeah,
That would be so cool. Like Necrochasm and like just a real, because we kind of had it in Destiny 1 where like there was an artifact where like if you hit an enemy, they would come to your side. So hopefully something like that for Warlocks. Like,
that would
and
be
it's like
cool.
some high fumed armor. I would never give Bungie shit ever again. Ever.
Yeah, yeah,
That would be the
it is.
coolest Warlock build ever
Yeah,
of all
yeah,
time.
Um, oh crap, I was about to say something. Remember what to say. Um, I think I was gonna say something about like nope, it's gone. Train has left the station.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, I really think that I agree. Like his and his Warlock's pretty dope.
yeah,
Not gonna lie, and so like this game is so cool because you could make like there's nothing that like not weapons wise because you can get the same weapon, but if you look armor wise, you can make your guy so like unique. Like that's not in a lot of other games. Like it's where no, that's the I mean like not of like FPS games
yeah,
where you can make obviously it's in a lot of RPG games, but like it's not like you can make a specific build for any situation and improve your odds of survival, right? Like there's not a lot of games, at least to my knowledge, out there. Like I'm excited for what they do for that. They've done a really good job with the mod system and probably gonna introduce new mods with the darkness, which would be pretty awesome.
yeah. New
And
stasis mods.
yeah, can't wait for the new subclass. I'm gonna have to wait a long time.
Right. Well, this is gonna be the second time trying to end it. is the
Just
is
so there's
the
so much stuff to talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So is there any final thoughts that you have?
Final.
Yeah.
Um,
Final thoughts.
no, I guess just I'm ready. I'm excited,
Yeah.
and I thank you
Yeah.
for having me on the cast.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're a party member now, so um we're gonna be traveling through different topics, and hopefully
Awesome,
I'm sure that you'll be on again sometime. So um
sweet.
I know that we a kind of a glimpse into the future. Uh Me and Owen have already talked about doing one about the PS5 and talking about the games and what we if we're gonna cop PS5 or Xbox Series X and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that if that I don't know if that's gonna be the next episode. I have a catalog of stuff that I wanna of topics that I wanna get through. So
awesome.
that will be if you don't see him earlier than that, then you'll definitely see him on that episode. So I that's about it for this episode. I mean, yeah, I'm excited too, and I hope that Bungie keeps doing what they're doing because recently they've been taking the game in a good direction. So,
Yeah,
with that being said, that is the end of this episode of the Party Member Podcast. Thank you guys for joining, taking this 1.5 hour journey of Destiny with us, listening to our big brain theories and listening to our thoughts on the meta. Thank you guys
yeah.
so much. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next episode. Leave easy out there, everyone. All right, well, what you think?
That was dope. That was so fun. Had a blast, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it was very. We had really good flow.
Yeah, we did. It just felt good. Like it didn't. I forgot we were talking to an like I forgot to address the audience.
Yeah,
Like it just felt like we were just talking back and forth.
yeah. I had a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, I did too.
anyway, want to go play some Destiny?